They have presented a rezoning application for 9 of their parcels, which is roughly 53 acres, and also one application from the South Carolina State Ports Authority for an additional 2 acres to be rezoned from the redevelopment district back to the heavy industrial. In December of 2017, the city finally finalized a rezoning from heavy industrial to the redevelopment district. We went back and forth for well over a year trying to rezone this property to something that the city felt that we could utilize the property in a better way. And staff has also given a recommendation in the end here that says that we recommend to deny this rezoning request.
Now, even with these amendments, it still places immense risk upon the facility that I want you all to consider. The 365-day idling period is defined as production of steel only. It doesn't count idling caused by modifications for environmental permitting, if we're just doing material handling, if we have to change the facility. That doesn't count. That starts the clock running. And by the way, several of the modifications that we've got planned are long lead items. I want to mention that.
My question is the mill for sale right now?
I'm not aware of anybody wanting to sell the mill. No, I got it. No, it's not for sale.
So, considering that the city might be able to review the burdens that you're discussing, and considering that you can make steel in perpetuity, I am not really sure that you need a zoning change to satisfy the requirements that you're bringing up.
It's that in perpetuity part, because we can't predict the future. There are things that are outside of our control and that put us at risk. There are things that we want to do at the facility that can't be undertaken unless we know that we can get a return on our investment. And so it's the in perpetuity part that's the issue. We need this to keep operating to secure the future. Okay, that's what we need to secure the future of this facility as a permanent operating part of this community. That's what we need. Part of what we've been doing is getting the facility back into operation, and we're in much more of a steady state. And this, which has always been on our list of things to do, that's why it's coming up now.
The work of the city administration and council to secure the support of Liberty Steel before the final vote to rezone was done with the idea that a strong steel mill should be able to thrive in the city. And it was done, as the city administration said, with the support of the steel mill at the time. And in fact, I want to remind you that the executive chairman of Liberty House Group at the time said, we can work within this, and in fact said that, quote, it will not hinder the mill's ability to operate. So why should the Planning Commission now consider a step backwards to again rezone any of this property to heavy industrial? Every opportunity to have the mill succeed in the steel market has been given to the current operators.
I'm happy for jobs to be in Georgetown. I'd like to know that there are Georgetown residents getting those jobs. I don't know that. I don't even know how many people work in the mill. And I don't know how many are residents of the city of Georgetown. It doesn't seem like I can get that answer from anybody. But we ought to be doing things that are good for the residents of the city, those who vote and who pay the city taxes. And I just ask y'all not to rezone this property.
Because I really feel like coming into Georgetown off of Highway 17, coming up Front Street, it's very important to see what Georgetown is. In other words, we're a little tourist town right now, but we've got the potential of being a miniature Charleston without all the hubbub. And I really feel like Liberty Steel, like everyone else, they knew what they were getting into. And I think for them right now, the ideal zoning is the current zoning.
I do want everybody to understand that the United Steelworkers strongly objected to the ordinance, and we made it very well known. And we had a hearing on April 25th of 2017 with the Planning Commission where it was voted to reject the zoning request that was being done and pushed by the ex-mayor, Jack Scoville. It was defeated 4-3. But everybody here on the planning commission knows quite well that you're here to make a recommendation, but at the end of the day, it will get back before the city council. Georgetown will always be a working community. You have blue-collar workers in this community, and we will never go out of style. Blue-collar workers will never go out of style.
I'm not in favor of this request for the steel mill, and I'd like for you to mark down, I'm opposed. And I would like to say, second to Mr. Friedman, great response. Thank you.
And I agree with Mr. Sanderson and the gentleman with him to make the recommended changes they need for the mill, but in a different location as far away from the city as possible.
All it is now, they want to get it rezoned so they can go to a potential buyer out there, or they can shut it down and not have to lose the grandfather status. Because long term, they feel it's more valuable for resale zone, industrial, heavy industrial than for commercial. That's what this is all about. The mill's not going to be successful. It needs to be repurposed. And that's all there is to it. The fact of the matter is, we're getting ready to go into another recession. The mill is not viable, and it's not going to be viable for whatever reason. It's just a bad mill, and please do not rezone this property. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion. I believe that in the long view, the REDD zoning, the current zoning, provides for sustained growth for the city. It is the future of the city, provides for jobs and clean and healthy environment. I believe that Liberty still does have some issues, but I believe they can be addressed separately from a zoning issue. And perfectly willing to look at those, although I probably won't be part of that discussion. So I would like to make a motion that I move for the denial of the Liberty Steel petition to change the zoning for 421 South Fraser, also known as the Liberty Steel Mill.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Now, this time I ask, instead of just a yes and no vote, please say if you're against or for the motion. Thank you. That will please pull forward.
Mr. Johnson?
For the motion.
Mr. Smith?
For the motion.
Mr. Williams?
Against the motion.
Mr. Roberts?
For the motion.
Mr. Spencer? Mr. Peterson?
For the motion. So moved. Thank you.
What does this mean? If the city council upholds this recommendation, what does it mean for the future of the mill?
I don't think city council will uphold it.
But if they do, what does it mean for the future of the mill?
I don't think they will. I think the city council members respect the workers of this community and in the city, and I think they will basically uphold the petition and vote in favor of the Liberty request to get it resolved.
But if they do not, what does this mean for the future
I
of the
don't even
mill?
think like that.
Oh, okay.
This is what democracy is all about. You know you got the votes, you know you got the members on city council that represents the workers in this city, and I think that's what democracy is all about.
Were you surprised what happened tonight?
No.
Now, let me ask about if city council upholds this recommendation and your request is denied ultimately, what does that mean for the future of Liberty Steel?
You'll have to speak to my client about that. I haven't been briefed on that. I've been briefed on our position, which I believe I've explained to the board.